What's good, you guys? Brad here. To celebrate 100 YouTube subscribers, I'm dropping my very first long form piece of content I have ever recorded. This right here, I am sharing with you guys my personal training journey, my story of going from not a personal trainer, someone who personally believed that you couldn't make it as a personal trainer, to now someone who's selling almost $250,000 per year in training services. So hopefully, if you're a young and up and coming trainer, you can steal either some inspiration or some methods from my story, apply it to yourself, and you too can become a full-time personal trainer, because it is possible. And I was someone who, maybe like yourself, didn't believe it was possible at first. So my journey to becoming a personal trainer, I have been lifting really my entire life. I started probably when I was 16, and I kind of had the idea in the back of my head of, hey, I really like this and I want to become a personal trainer since I was 17, 18 years old. But I had a lot of fear in terms of hearing that you couldn't make it or be successful as a personal trainer. It was a kid job. You have to get a real career, things like that. So although I wanted to be a personal trainer, I took a very divergent path to get there because I was scared. Being financially successful was really important to me. So I ended up going to college. You don't need a college degree to become a personal trainer, but I went to college, and essentially I was going to college for a lot of backup options. I was toying around with different career ideas. I went through economics, I went through Spanish, I went through human physiology, which got me into personal training. Ended up college wrapping back up with business. But all of that, going to college, was essentially getting degrees to serve as a backup plan. In case personal training didn't work out, I would go this other path, such as physical therapy school, such as something else that I deemed as safer, a safer way to become successful and pay my bills. Fast forward probably about 4 years into undergrad, because I went to both undergrad and I went to grad school. I was probably about 24 at the time. Got an opportunity to take a course. I wasn't personal training at all at this time. I had no experience. I was doing other jobs. Doesn't really matter what, but I was not in fitness whatsoever. I still worked out myself, still super passionate about it, but I just hadn't trained anybody. I was going to University of Oregon at the time. There was a course offered through the rec center there where they essentially teach you the material to pass your ACE personal training certification, and from there they were going to use the people that took that course, obviously did well, they were going to hire from that pool of students who took the course. And I said, okay, this is literally personal training handed to you on a silver platter. If I can't make it work here, then I'll never make it work. So I jumped in and did it. I took the course. I actually didn't get hired immediately on, but I got offered basically like an alternative position. I was basically the next one in line for personal trainers. They hired a few personal trainers above me and then put me on a wait list. But hey, while you're on this wait list, we have a spot in personal training open up for you. We're going to have you start teaching Group X classes. And I had no experience doing that. I had no experience taking Group X classes. But I decided, hey, I wanted to be in fitness. Why not? Let's give it a shot. So they taught me how to do it, and I started teaching TRX-based group classes, and did that for really only about a semester, and then the personal training slot opened up for me. I then personal trained there for a year, basically just through needing money. I hustled and I became one of, if not the highest selling personal training there in my first year. And then I did so well that once I graduated, because that was now my senior year of undergrad, they actually hired me to take my boss's spot as essentially the personal training manager. So I worked as a personal trainer part-time for a year. I then graduated and started as the personal training manager, and I did that for a year also at the same university. So then all of the people that were my coworkers, I was now their boss and training them on how to be good coaches. That then got me a graduate assistantship here at Boise State. I live in Boise, Idaho now. I went to Boise State University. There, I essentially was the personal training manager there for 2 years. And in trade, they gave me a free master's degree. So I got a master's in business. I spent 2 years there while I was personal training managing, and also teaching a couple classes and personal training a couple clients on the side. But my primary focus was school. So all of that combined, that's about 4 years of part-time personal training experience, part-time class instruction, and part-time personal training management experience, all while in college. Fast forward to ending my graduate assistantship and getting my master's degree from Boise State. There just happened to be an awesome fitness studio opening up here in Boise, Idaho, that I still work at to this day. It's called Pivot Lifestyle and Fitness, and it was just a small mom and pop gym that was ran by a local gold medal Olympian. So I was applying to jobs all over, and that's one of the jobs that I applied to and got. I went to school. Again, fear. Fear was a big theme in all this, not thinking I could make it as a personal trainer. And although now I had experienced personal training and teaching group fitness classes, I still deep down didn't believe that you could make it as a full-time personal trainer, because it was so hard and I just didn't have any examples of people that I had seen actually do it. I really had two choices when I graduated my master's degree. I had the option, my resume was built towards gym management experience, kind of a big push amongst coworkers to continue down that path. But I really wanted to go personal training. Again, I'm weighing safety over taking a risk, betting on myself, and doing what I really wanted to do. I opted to take the risk. So now I'm graduating. I got a bunch of money in student loans, debt, and I got to make it happen. It's just me, right? I got nobody taking care of myself, nobody to help me financially. So I got to make it happen. So what did I do? I started teaching at 4 different fitness studios, Pivot being one of them. And I was just personal training and teaching classes wherever I could. So that was an absolute hustle. I'm teaching 5, 6 a.m. at one studio, driving across town, teaching 7, 8 a.m. at another, going back home, eating lunch, and then driving to another studio to teach the noon class, train a client. So my schedule was all over the place, driving to and from studios, super erratic. And then from there, I slowly started trimming it down and focusing in my time and attention where I wanted to be, which was at Pivot, because that had a big opportunity there. One, small mom and pop. They didn't have experience opening a gym. I had experience managing a gym, managing personal trainers, and being a personal trainer. So I brought my expertise to that gym. They needed the expertise. So they essentially hired me to manage and personal train, but they gave me a lot of freedom because they were new. They didn't have much experience. I had some relevant experience. So they basically kind of let me run with it, right? So that was a tremendous experience. If you can find something like that, I absolutely recommend it, because they gave me a whole lot of freedom to try and fail. And that has been the biggest thing that has helped me in my career, is trying and failing repeatedly, right? And very quickly, quick turnovers. They allowed me to set some of my own pricing. They allowed me to try different sales tactics. They allowed me to try and package up different personal training services, come up with my own training services, and just reiterate, essentially kind of running my own personal training business with training wheels on. So where am I at now? I'm a full-time personal trainer. I don't have any other jobs, any other sources of income. All of my income comes from personal training, and a majority of it is in person, some online, and a lot of it through group classes. My home base in terms of how I get clients is through teaching group classes. As I said, I got my start in teaching TRX classes. I've continued with that. I've also got class teaching experience in all sorts of different formats. I've taught yoga, I've taught hot yoga, I've taught Pilates, hot Pilates, CrossFit, CrossFit knockoffs, cycling. I've got a couple different cycling certifications. So I taught a lot of classes. Classes were huge when I was coming up and going full time, because classes were safe. Classes were guaranteed money. Personal training when you're first starting is not guaranteed money. If that client cancels on you, you most time don't get paid for that session. So I wanted classes. So I was teaching 20-ish classes a week for years to essentially give myself a salary kind of buffer of, hey, I've got 20 hours guaranteed pay so I can pay rent now. And now I'm going to try and get the other 20 hours through clients. So I focused on the classes heavy, and I got really, really good at teaching classes because I was doing it all the damn time. That is super, super important. And then from those classes, I then started recruiting from those classes to, hey, I'm a personal trainer. If you're looking for additional help, I can help you, that sort of thing. And I would just announce that sort of thing at the end of my classes, slowly started getting notoriety. The biggest kind of turning point in my career, I would say, when I really started to go from, hey, I'm part-time training, struggling, to, okay, I'm full-time and things are really going well and kind of operating on all cylinders, is when I started my own small group training program. So that is not quite personal training, not quite Group X class instruction. It's a little bit of both. So it is a structured training program, stealing from personal training, but taught in a group class setting. So smaller groups, I call it muscle camps. It's strength training based. For 8 weeks, people follow the same program, and each program, each 8-week blocks build off of each other. And that has been life-changing. Honestly, that has been life-changing and is the foundation of my personal training business to this day. I basically now use that as the funnel. I start people there, right? I start people there, and because it's a cheaper way to get my coaching. It's not cheap, it's actually fairly expensive, but compared to everything else I offer, it is the cheapest. It's the cheapest way to start working with me. Once I have them there, obviously I give them a great experience, but then I have those pool of people in my cheapest thing that then I can get referrals from. So they refer their husband, they refer their wife, they refer their mom, their sister, whatever. I get referrals from, or those same people then come to me for additional services. Hey, this class is great, this program is great, I need help with nutrition. Hey, this class is great, this program is great, I'd like a fourth, fifth workout on my own that goes towards this goal. Can we meet up for some sessions per week? So I guess casting a wide net of having a small group of a fairly affordable training program, and then from there doing really well with that, going above and beyond with that, really, really trying to push quality of customer care there, so that way they are more apt to seek more of my help. They're saying, hey, if this cheap thing is this good, how good is this really expensive thing? In summary, I would say, one, you can absolutely do it. So if you're like me and you were scared at any point, or maybe you're just starting out, you are scared, you can do it. It is much harder than most trainers think it's going to be. It took me, and I'm just talking full time, it took me full time 3 years, working 6 days a week, most of them 10 to 12 hour days. Have a gap in the middle where I would eat lunch and lift. But 6 days a week, 10 to 12 hours is kind of what it took to get to full time and where I'm at now. I started with all of my services, muscle camps, personal training, everything, nutrition, dirt cheap. And I started casting a really wide net, getting a whole bunch of clients. Then as I got full, my hair was falling out. Because I was so stressed out coaching so many people, I slowly started upping my prices, upping my prices. So as people would fall off for whatever reason, I would get their friend referred to me, and the friend would always be at the higher price. So that is my suggestion to you. If you can control pricing, cast a wide net, start cheap because you suck early on, and it's okay to suck, but you get good by coaching a lot of people in a short period of time. So it's okay to suck. Don't charge a lot. Get a lot of experience. Focus on experience first so you can get good. As you get booked, slowly start upping the price. Expect the crazy hours. Lean into the crazy hours. Lean into the lack of sleep, being the last one in the gym and for the night session or the night classes, and being the first one in the gym at 5 a.m. for that first class or that first session. That is the life of the trainer, of the people who I see struggle to make training a career. They are not willing to do those things. you have to lean into those things. There's not a lot of career trainers because a lot of people are afraid to lean into that discomfort, and it is super uncomfortable. But that's where all the progress lies. Just like with the lifting, just like with the training. If you have any questions on this, I'm all ears. Drop in the comments. That'll give me more ideas for future videos. There is going to be long form videos on here. Again, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Channel is just getting started, and I look forward to watching it grow and growing with you, my friends. Adios.